You're listening to Cooperative Multiplayer. The official podcast of the 4-in-1 Game Zone.
Hello and welcome to another Cooperative Multiplayer Live, the official 4-in-1 Game Zone podcast. I'm your host, Sean Garmer, and with me today is my usual co-host, Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
How have things been going for you?
Good and bad. You?
Mostly good. Just work and all that. Is the cat feeling better since last time?
Yeah, he had a urinary tract infection, so I got him some antibiotics, and that helped.
Did you have to give him a lot of water and all that?
Yeah, I had to hold his mouth open to force feed him water.
Oh, that must have been really fun.
Well, now I can't do that as much because now he has the energy to fight back.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's like me trying to make my kid put her shoes on in the morning.
Yeah.
Doesn't work that well sometimes. Get kicked in the face and whatnot. Well, I have heard that you've been playing some very recently released games.
Yep, Grandia 2.
Yeah.
The hottest game there is right now.
But, yeah, so, I saw the review for the Grandia 2. You know, only a game that's been out for quite a while.
The other big one that's coming up is Calvino Noir, which is one of the worst games I've ever played.
What is that again?
Yeah, it's an iOS game apparently. It's like a 2D platformer, adventure game, with really bad stealth mechanics.
Oh, that's great.
The checkpoints are insane. You have to guide two characters through stages. That's not fun at all. The animation is horrible, etc. The review's not up yet, but I gave it a 2 out of 10.
Man. So do not play that game.
The funny thing is, I look at the screenshots and I was like, oh, this looks cool. So I got it, and within 10 minutes I regretted that choice.
Well, they all can be winners.
Yeah. I guess the other two games are Infinity 3.0 and Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of hinting towards there.
Yeah, but no one cares about those two.
Right. Especially all those kids that want to be playing that Infinity. So, how is it?
Infinity 3.0 is pretty good. There's one little problem I've had with, there's a lot of platforming, which is fine, but there's a lot of ledge climbing, and it's done kind of poorly. I've frequently just, jumped off a cliff, when I'm holding onto the ledge, because, you have to wait a second for the character to, jump up, and not just jump to the right. And it's no, there's no ledge here. Why is this even an option anymore?
Yeah, that does.
But I got the normal game, 2 extra characters, I think Obi-Wan and Yoda, and this new playset, toy box takeover, I think. And that's actually really cool. I actually like that more than the Star Wars playset.
So what's in the toy box takeover thing?
It's basically, I think the story is basically Syndrome from The Incredibles got Mickey's magic wand and is trying to take over the world, or the toy box. It's basically a light Diablo game, but you can use any character you want.
Okay.
So the first stage is you're in Pirate's World, and I was using most of the time Yoda and other Star Wars characters in it because they're the most I have right now. and like the final boss was like Davy Jones, and he destroyed I have 9 figures right now, like over the course of these 3 games. He destroyed he destroyed 7 of them. He was a hard boss.
Yikes.
Until I remembered, like, I have old figures from Infinity 1.0 that were all leveled up. I put Mr. Incredible on the portal. He leveled up to 20 instantly. And I wasted that boss.
Nice. So, like, other than that one thing that with the cliffs and all that, it still works pretty well mechanically. And
I would actually say it works a lot better. Combat is greatly improved, like, because Ninja Theory is doing like the lightsaber combat, so it feels it's pretty dumbed down compared to like a Devil May Cry game, but it kind of still feels like that, or feels like God of War almost, because it's a lot of like hold the button down to like air attack, and then you can like combo air, like hit people in the air. And Anakin is great because he can force pull enemies to him, like in midair, so you just waste people with him.
awesome.
There's 2 new things I think in this one that I asked you about 2.0 and they weren't in there. One is you have like player housing, and you can like create your own house and like add rooms to it and everything. It's kind of weird, but it's interesting, I guess. And the other thing is sidekicks, and you can get sidekicks from like doing quests or just buying stuff, and they're pretty fun.
So what do they do? Are they just AI characters that help?
Yeah,
you, I guess?
they attack. Well, they're basically like pets in Diablo, but they attack on their own. You can equip on them a helmet and a weapon, and they attack on their own. The helmet's kind of fun because you can pick them up and throw them at enemies, and it creates like a massive explosion that kills almost everything. They can also heal you, like once every minute or 2. Because health in that game, they don't give you a lot of health potions or health pickups. And you can also feed them, like, food to increase their stats. And the more you use them, the higher their friendship level gets. And I think that's kind of like a level up system.
Wow, that's pretty interesting considering it's for kids. They added a lot in this one.
So, like, I have 12 sidekicks right now, and you can swap them in and out at, like, these stations. And the one I'm using right now the most is Scrooge McDuck, because why wouldn't you? But, like, I have, like, Chip from Chip and Dale, I have the Genie from Aladdin, I have Jack Sparrow, I think. I have Davy Jones, because I think, like, once you beat the bosses, like, you get them as sidekicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
Does Scrooge just throw money at you, or?
No, you can equip him with different weapons. So the first weapon I had, he was, like, throwing, like, daggers, I think. And the second one, he's throwing, like potions that explode.
That's so funny, thinking about Scrooge McDuck throwing daggers.
And so, like, the next stage, I haven't beat it yet, but I'm, like, in Manhattan with a bunch of like, venom symbiotes attacking me, and I'm just tooling around with Scrooge McDuck, and I'm, like, Jack Sparrow, just shooting everything.
So do you think that the gameplay is it a lot more fun?
Yeah, it's a lot more tactile than, like, Infinity, at least 1 was. I didn't play much of 2 at all, so... yeah, it's better gameplay overall. I think there's a Toy Box hub that's very cluttered and kind of confusing. Like, you're just kind of overwhelmed at a certain point. But overall, it's good. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there that's just kind of weird. Like, there's a farming mini game, and I'm just like, why is this here?
Just to give you something to do. Yeah, they do that in the Toy Box to kind of make it seem like you can do other things besides just build.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like Minecraft, or
right.
Like I guess I'm not gonna play it, but I guess it's there if you want.
Is it easier to make things in the Toy Box?
Not really. I always found that interface just very confusing. Like, I'm probably not going to touch it much at all, but you can get levels from other players and, like, from the community pretty easily.
Yeah, that's what I remember. It was easier than the first one, which was just a freaking mess to try to figure out how to build something and actually make it seem cohesive, but even in the second one, it was still a lot to have to go through and be like, okay, well, what do I want to build? Oh, this. At least they didn't put everything behind the wall of, oh, you have to play with the playset in order to. They changed that in 2. I don't know if they did that in 3 as well, where you have a lot more options when you're building instead of, oh, well, you have to unlock.
Yeah, you still have to
all the good stuff.
You still have to do that in this one. They have to like either unlock it, I think, through the story, or just buy it. But some stuff I just can't buy right now. Like, it's just unavailable. I'm not sure why. Like, I think it might be story related. Like a lot of Star Wars stuff, for example.
Yeah, it's probably story related.
But a lot of the Marvel stuff is pretty okay. Like, just kind of there. And they collect these tokens. I'm not sure what they do. I think you can play as characters temporarily.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you do that, but you can. And also, the game is just kind of difficult in general in points.
Hey, that's a plus compared to just easy at all points.
Yeah, but a lot of the missions you have like bonus objectives, and almost every mission is like complete on extreme difficulty. And I'm like, what kid is going to do this?
Yeah, that doesn't make. I guess they want to see if they probably thought that it being Star Wars was going to be a lot more adults.
Maybe.
So.
And like a lot of the side objectives are like complete as a character, which is fine, but they don't tell you that beforehand. So it's like, I already have Anakin. I can put him on the base. I could beat this mission and get this extra star. If you tell me that beforehand, before I waste time beating it as Yoda, so I don't have to replay the stupid mission.
Oh, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, why wouldn't you say you have to beat this as Anakin or whatever?
I mean, it might. I'm just not seeing it, but not that I've seen. Like, it's like at the end, it's like, here's your bonus objectives, and it's like, I could have, I could have put Yoda on, or I could have put Anakin on here, and got that one.
Yeah, because it lets you swap in. Yeah, before you finish the level, you could have swapped in and out or whatever.
Yeah. But thanks to my friends Johnny and Matt for getting it for me, and yeah, that toy box takeover I think is at this point the highlight of the game.
Well, there you go. If is that what is that, like a mini game inside the?
No, you have to buy it. I think when you pre-order it, you get it for free. I think it's $20, maybe 15. I'm not entirely sure. I've not been able to find it online for buying, but I think it's due out in October.
Well, there you go. If you see it out there in October, that's the thing you need to get for Infinity.
Yeah.
Forget getting 4 characters. Just get Toy Box Takeover. So how about that Metal Gear Solid 5?
It's good. They had a little. It runs really well on my computer, which I'm kind of surprised by. But it had like one little problem with a video codec. So I had to like disable it to get it to run correctly.
Hey, at least it's not Batman.
Yeah. I've only played like 2 hours. It's impressive how much better it is than Ground Zeroes.
Well, that's saying something.
Well, like Ground Zero, it's the same gameplay essentially, but Ground Zeroes you were on a very very small island with not a lot of stuff to do. And in this one, you're just in a huge map, and it's like, yeah, well, now I can actually like do whatever I want.
Right. Yeah. Now you can walk around and decide what you want to do. So, do you think this is the last one, or?
Oh yeah. I mean, Kojima's done, and even if they make a Metal Gear 6, he won't be involved, and it'll probably be garbage.
I have a feeling if they make another one, they'll just reboot it.
I would actually really like a Metal Gear Rising 2.
See, that they could do without Kojima, so...
I mean, they could do that and bring him in still, because Platinum could just, hire him, or not, like a temporary, give him
as a consultant or something.
Yeah, like, what do you think of the story, for example, but... yeah, the beginning of the game is insane, and I'm only, I played it for 3 or 4 hours, and I'm only 2% done.
Yikes. Well, at least you know you're gonna get your money's worth. You're gonna have a lot to play through on that.
Yeah, a friend of mine, very graciously got it for me. So, yeah, I was going insane, huh?
I was just saying, I know a lot of people are probably playing it right now, going, "Oh, I'm gonna be here a while playing this."
Yeah, like I had a friend get it from like the NVIDIA voucher program, and he didn't even buy anything NVIDIA. He just got an email with the code, and I was like,
"What?
God damn you!"
How does that happen?" That must have been a mix-up or something in the system. It just
Yeah.
sent that random email. Alright, so PAX happened since the last time we were on here. Did you see anything from there that kind of was interesting to you, or?
I mainly just watched some of the like Giant Bomb stuff and the PAX Rumble. That's all I care about, really.
Who won the PAX Rumble?
I think Samantha Kalman. I think that's her name. Coleman. I'm not sure how you spell her last name, but she finally just defeated Alex Navarro. So.
Man, Alex Navarro usually always does well in those things. So.
Yeah.
Who was she using? Do you remember?
Oh no, but the greatest wrestling stable died that day. So.
Fair enough. Well, speaking of wrestling,
oh, I watched.
Do that for.
I did watch the like Giant Bomb Mario Party thing. That was good.
Yeah, they already have reviews in there for Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Which, to no one's surprise, is very good, as I'm sure we all figured it would be.
Yeah. Well, it's a big holiday game for the year, so.
Yeah, and I mean, with a Mario game, they're not going to screw that up, especially when it's just basically making a Mario game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I'm interested more than any of those other build-a-something games, but I don't know about getting a Wii U for it.
Yeah.
Well, as we were talking about wrestling, apparently 2K has decided that they're going to change the reversal system and change the submission system and stamina and a lot of the gameplay really for this year to make it more like what you see in the ring instead of it being a reversal fest. So it's going to be sort of kind of like how you have your finishers where you have to have them stored and you have to earn them. Well, you're going to have like 5 reversals that you're going to have available to you, and then the more you use them, they go away. And then if you want to reverse like a big move, like a finish or something, you have to have 2 of them. So you have to kind of be strategic with your reversals because we still don't know how you actually get them. We know you get them slowly over time, but we don't know if there's going to be like a little meter like with the finishers, or they're just going to randomly appear or whatever. But it takes it away from being the reversal fest that it's kind of always been, where you just keep pressing and pressing and pressing and seeing how many times you reverse until somebody messes up. And they're also going to make stamina a bigger part of it, where, you know, the holds that you put on are really going to work that area. And there's going to be different kinds of holds. So there's going to be some that are just working it over, and there's actually a way where you can really manipulate the new submission system that's kind of like the UFC one, where the little thing kind of goes around and you have to, I guess, try to trap it instead of doing the whole button mashing thing. So I don't know how I feel about that one, because I remember the UFC one being a little tricky, but you know. So what do you think about this reversal thing? Do you think it's going to make it better?
In theory, but the underlying problem with that series, it's still being developed by Ukes, and they're not good. Like the last good WWE game in that series was 513.
Yeah.
Like 14 was okay, I think, from what I heard. But I heard 15 was a disaster.
Yeah, 15 was bad.
And like, from what I've seen of 16, they're just going on and on about like, oh, this is the biggest roster ever. It's like, I don't care. I want you to fix the game. Like, some of the problems in those Ukes games have been around for years, and you've not had them fix it.
Well, this is the biggest change that I've seen them make, where they're trying to change a lot of things at once. I think it's a lot easier to sell people on the roster than it is to tell them on a commercial, hey, we changed this and that and this and that.
True, but, like, I think word of mouth is very important to a wrestling fan. And, like, if you said to me, like, this WWE 2K16 game, they actually made a good game, I would buy it then. Instead of you going, well, hey, it has Ava Marie in the roster. It's like, all right. It has a Total Divas mode. It's like, great. I'm still not going to buy it now.
That's so true, but yeah,
Like, I basically want them to make another All Stars game and like make that franchise.
I'd love for them to make another All-Star game. It was just fun, you know. It was like back how like No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000, where it was very simple.
The problem with those WWE 2K games is they treat wrestling like it's a sport. So they make simulation games based on it. And sorry to burst anyone's bubble, but wrestling's fake. And so why not just make like an insane game based on it?
Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't have just kept having both of them.
Yeah. Or make just have finally like give what is it, WV a bunch of money and make that WWE Immortals game like a console game.
I wonder if they can actually do that, though. Well, they could, because 2K made it a mobile game, and then they make the Supercard game, and then Warner Brothers made the other one without 2K having anything to do with it, so I wonder if that would work.
I would much rather be into like an Immortals game or All-Stars 2 than 2K16, which is basically a null at this point. Like they can
I'd love an Immortals game with like a story kind of fleshed out with it, and hell, if that thing took off, they could make a cartoon.
Yeah.
With Immortals, you know, like that.
They could have big shows of Lumberjack. That'd be great.
Yeah. All the characters in that game were cool. Like just Paige and just I liked using Paige a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it was something different, and that's why it was kind of special. I think, it's just one of those where the people want their simulation, and that's fine, but if you give other people different avenues for it, I mean, they easily have, 2K is the same people that make some of they help make Borderlands. They can make goofy things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility for them to be given All-Stars or something like it and say, okay, let's make this all like a Blitz version of WWE and do it. And they'll probably they can figure it out.
Or it can bring back Crush Hour.
Oh, God. Let's not talk about that game. It's terrible. I like the fact that we had, WWE racing cars, but it just didn't. Yeah. So Uncharted now has a release date and 2 different collector's editions. Are you excited about March 18th?
I would say no, because I know I'm not going to get it to review. I've only played Uncharted 1, so I don't have a lot of attachment to that series, like, right now. Like, I'm actually more excited for that Uncharted collection due out this year, because I'll be able to play it on my PS4, and that won't implode like my PS3 will.
Yeah, and hopefully they took out some of the stuff like the 6-axis, needing the 6-axis controller for the first one, which is so annoying.
Yeah, that stuff, Infamous had some of that stuff also, where it's like you have to turn the controller to like spray paint, and I'm just like, what? This feels incredibly unnatural and stupid to do. Why is this here?
I don't know how that felt natural to the testers. I don't know how that felt natural to anybody making the game.
Yeah.
I guess Sony just says, okay, you have to have motion control no matter what, and it's just okay. Makes no sense.
Yeah, like it's a neat idea in principle, but like it just doesn't work in most games. Some games it does, and that's fine, but 95% of games it just does not work that well.
Completely agree. You can get, so for $80, you can get a steelbook, which has steelbook case, a 48-page hardcover art book, a Naughty Dog and Pirate Sigil sticker sheet, and Naughty Dog points, which you can use to unlock multiplayer stuff. And then for the $120 Libertalia Collector's Edition, you can get a 12-inch Nathan Drake statue, and 3 multiplayer outfits, and 2 custom weapon skins. A baseball cap, and a Madagascar sidekick outfit.
Except for the cap, that sounds like the most generic special edition ever.
Yeah, so I get Heist Drake and Desert Drake outfits. Alright, whatever.
I am a fan of when you get a special edition, it comes with incredibly stupid or unique shit.
Yeah, because everybody makes statues now.
Like the Assassin's Creed 3 special edition, it came with a statue. Who cares? It came with that cool flag. And I'm like, yeah, there you go, Ubisoft. You got yours finally.
Yeah, like Kingdom Hearts, was it 1.5 or 2.5 came with a little pin?
Yeah.
That my daughter now has. So, it wasn't much, but it was still cool, you know.
Or like when I got like the Diablo 3 special edition, it came with like a little Diablo 3 skull with a USB key stuck in it.
What did the USB... Was that how you unlock the content or something?
I think it had Diablo 2 on it.
Oh, that's nice. That's pretty cool.
But I like unique stuff like that instead of, well, here's a poster and here's a statue and here's
an art book and all the stuff you always get.
I would actually like to see how many people actually look at those art books. I can't imagine it's less than 5% of people.
Even if you do, you look at it once, then it's like, okay.
Yeah, so you're not going to put it on a coffee table and someone comes over. What's this? You got Uncharted 4 art book? Well, let me look at this for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I can totally see some chick coming over being like, oh, you have one of these?
Let me take my pants off.
Or she walks right out the door.
Yeah.
So, Destiny, the Taken King, they're making so much about all these new things that they're adding to it. One of the things that won't be there on day one is the raid for Taken King. That's going to show up later.
It's not like that's important.
Exactly.
Except for it's the whole focus of the damn game.
I don't understand why they keep doing this.
I'll venture it's because they're idiots.
Do you think all the improvements are going to make it something people are really going to come back to, or is it just going to appeal to the people that are still playing?
It'll only appeal to the people still playing. I think that game is just too far gone at this point. Like, when they release Destiny 2, like then that'll drop new people back in. But like Destiny was pretty maligned when it came out, and it never quite got like the updated raids are okay, but it's still never quite gotten over like when it first came out. I don't think.
Yeah, I'd agree. All I hear is people just saying, okay, you either get the crowd that's, I'm done with Destiny, or you get the ones that are just still playing it, and then you get the crazy ones that have been playing it all the time, or whatever, but those are really few. You get the ones that'll play it a little bit here and there when there's a raid, with their friends, I guess sort of like most MMOs anyway, and then you get the ones that are just like, okay, I'm not going back, I'm done, I've spent a lot of money in that game, I don't want to anymore, and I mean, that's good that, they're still supporting it and everything. I just think that you need, I mean, the number one thing people look for in these things is raids, and if you're going to take it out, then, it's really going to be a lot of the features that are being put in there, and it's not going to give it a lot of endgame, I think.
Yeah, and the whole replacing Peter Dinklage with Nolan North, it's like, alright. I mean, you can get Nolan North a lot easier, I would assume.
Well, people apparently complained, so, I mean, I didn't know that was such a big deal, but, Destiny hardcores, I guess.
AKA the people that should not be breeding.
Somehow you are probably right about that. So Witcher 3 sold 6 million copies in 6 weeks. 1 million copies a week, basically.
Who would have thought releasing a good game would do that?
Especially one that gives you a lot of free DLC and stuff. I'm sure that's also a plus you can tell people.
Now just compare that to how Deus Ex Mankind Divided is doing.
Not so well, huh?
But I'm glad The Witcher, I think they're done with that series, but I'm glad it went out on a pretty high note, and I'm pretty excited to see what their next game is, that Cyberpunk thing.
Yeah, I'm excited for that Cyberpunk thing. Hopefully, it's, I mean, knowing them, it'll be really good. Let's see what it is.
And knowing them, it'll come out in 2020.
But it'll at least be worth it when it comes out.
Well, by that time, everyone will have robotic arms, so it doesn't matter.
I kind of hope not, but you never know. So Star Wars Battlefront's getting a beta sometime next month. It's going to have the 40-player Walker Assault on Hoth, the co-op survival mission on Tatooine, and the Drop Zone mode. There's also going to be no server browser matchmaking for Star Wars Battlefront. They're going to use skill-based matchmaking.
Yeah, because why would you want to play with your friends?
Okay, so for people like me who have no idea what the server browsing thing is, what does that mean?
It's basically like a list of servers. So, let's say you and I were playing, I could just say, go to the Hoth 4 server, and we can buddy up. And you can probably do that with matchmaking, but it becomes a more arduous process. And also, it depends a lot on, the ping of the server. If it's a low ping server, it means it'll play better than, a high ping one.
Right.
A lot of Call of Duty's problems have, recently, or for the longest time, have been based on that, because I think it was Modern Warfare 2 that did away with, servers, or, a server browser, and it just became a pain in the ass to, play with your friends. I mean, you could do it, but you had to be in, a party to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't always want to, not everybody wants to sit there and form a party and do all that. Sometimes you just want to go, okay, I want to play with my friend, you put it in there, and that's it. But
yeah.
Always got to make it harder to do the simple things.
Well, it's EA,
check out the beta?
No, because I don't care about Star Wars or Battlefront.
Jeez. Somebody doesn't care about Star Wars, oh my goodness.
I think the first 3 movies are okay, and some of the games have been good, but I don't have a lot of hope for most Star Wars games.
I'll probably just check out the game when it comes out. I'm not big on the whole multiplayer thing.
Yeah, I would, if I want to play a Star Wars game, I'd rather just play some single player thing, or
right.
I'd rather play KOTOR 3 than Battlefront 3, whatever the hell this is called.
Maybe someday KOTOR 3 will come out. Who knows?
Oh, those repackaged Star Wars, the Old Republic Online, just making an offline game. Just say, here's KOTOR 3.
Isn't that what they said anyway?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Here's KOTOR 4.
Hey, at least Guild Wars 2 is getting raids now. So.
And it's free, so that's cool.
Well, the first game has now been made free, but you got to pay for the expansion or whatever.
Yeah, that's what they did with Guild Wars 1, essentially. So I
Do
don't
you like that system better than?
Yeah, because you can play for free. So, like, I don't particularly like Guild Wars 2. Like, I think it's a well-made game. It's just not like my cup of tea. But it can be a fun game. Like, if I had people to play it with, it'd be a great game.
Right.
I just have no one in my life, so.
Well, so Heart of Thorns, there you go. If you want to pick that up now, you have another reason. You can play with your friend in some raids, I guess.
I think Guild Wars 1 is still going on, for God's sake.
Seriously? Wow. Nintendo decided, damn them, I wanted this frickin' 3DS, and now they decide to pair it with frickin' Animal Crossing of all things. I'm not a big Animal Crossing person at all, but
Tom Nook is gonna hunt you down and kill you now.
Probably. Someone's gonna show up at my door now. Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer 3DS bundle is coming. This is the standard one that allows you to have the cover plates that you can remove. It's also going to come with the NFC reader attachment, so you can put your Amiibos in it and your Amiibo cards that are going to be coming with this game. You can buy it for a total of $220.
That's kind of pricey.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, I can kind of understand with the NFC reader and the Amiibo cards and stuff like that. I mean, the NFC reader I think costs $30 by itself.
Okay.
So that might be why. You can also get the Hyrule edition, which is another Zelda sort of edition that's going to come out a week after Zelda Triforce Heroes comes out. You can get that for $200. It's gold, pretty much like a lot of the Zelda ones have been over the years. So, if you didn't get the first one, I guess you can get this one. Which I will admit, they look cool and everything, but yeah, just not spending $200 on that again. I can't, like, the people that do that, they already have one, but they want to go get another one just because it has Zelda on it. Like, I don't understand that.
You're talking to the guy who's getting his 4th original Xbox in a matter of days.
Never mind. Why am I to myself?
To be fair, this Xbox has a cool faceplate. That's about it.
Hey, what if you can? I guess why not? I might actually buy this Shovel Knight amiibo that is going to come out. I still only have my Pikachu one that's like staring at me right now, but Shovel Knight might be the next one on my list, since not that I care whether it unlocks an exclusive co-op mode in the Wii U version, because I don't have a Wii U. But hey, I can use it on my 3DS for challenge modes and whatnot, since I have Shovel Knight for the 3DS. And just because it looks cool, it's the first indie game amiibo that Nintendo has allowed to be made. So, hey, we could see more of these. What do you think? You think we'll see more indie game amiibos here?
I hope we get like a Binding of Isaac amiibo.
I think that'd
be
really
pretty
possible?
fun. No, it's not possible at all. It'd be pretty funny.
I mean, they're also doing this to kind of promote the expansion that's coming out for free too. So, it's a win-win for everybody. I think. It's gonna do well.
I hope you just unlock a fat shovel when you put that thing on the portal with Mario Maker.
That'd be awesome.
Mario just attacks with, like, instead of fireballs, he just throws shovels out.
I do want to see if they eventually put that in Mario Maker so you can have Shovel Knight kind of play through the Mario levels, because that's just kind of
funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Bowser Jr.'s amiibo, though, is going to be exclusive to Toys R Us. And You can only buy it in the store. You cannot order it online. So
Yeah, because that's what a lot of Toys R Us want. A bunch of 30-year-old guys waiting in line when it opens for an Amiibo.
no, that's what I was thinking. Like, aren't you trying to avoid people like just rushing the store trying to get it or whatever? I mean, just you're gonna have people going crazy because I don't know why this is still a thing, but it's whatever. I mean, yeah, I still like Nintendo. I feel like is manufacturing their availability because look at Disney Infinity and Skylanders still have first versions of their characters. Like you can go into certain stores and find a bunch of the characters from Disney Infinity 1, and you can find a lot of the characters from Skylanders 1, which is like you can't even buy that game anymore.
Well, I think both those games, they had a year, when they first both came out, both games had, like, supply problems, where, like, for the first year you couldn't get any of the characters. Which is,
Right.
I'll give Nintendo a year, but I think it's been a year now, at least.
Almost, yeah.
And you just can't go into a store and buy anyone. Like, plus, like, I'll go with Infinity just because I know about it. Like, Infinity does have some rare characters, like the see-through Buzz Lightyear, for example. And that's realtor or store-specific,
it's
which is
Toys
fine.
R Us, I think, the crystal ones.
That's fine. But not this whole characters. Like, it's not like, well, Woody is exclusive to Walmart, but if you want Buzz, you gotta go to Target. It's like, no, they're not that dumb, but Nintendo is.
Yeah, it's just I don't understand. Like it's just like with the Wii, they're trying to manufacture the rarity of it so people go crazy, and then they'll sit there and complain when people go on eBay and sell them. It's like, well, you made us go through all this crap. You made people have to go and get pay extra for it from Japan or the UK or something just to get them, and it's like, well, they gotta make some of their money back. I just, whatever they want to do, but I cannot. They must be getting some kind of big deal. Nintendo is for doing that, because I can't imagine what they're doing to the consumers is that great that you're going to one retailer for this one character. So Nintendo did reveal the name of their Project Treasure game, which is being made by Namco. It's a Bandai Namco. It's a free-to-play treasure raider game that's going to enter beta in Japan soon. There's 4 characters. It's called Lost Reavers, by the way. There's 4 characters. They're pretty, there's a black guy. There's a blonde woman with big boobs. There's the action dude, and then there's this guy that looks like a freaking ninja, sort of. They all have their own unique styles and weapons and whatnot. The trailer looked okay. You play all 4 people at once in one area, so... who knows? This could be a thing. With how badly Devil's Third was, I don't know that I trust anything that's not Nintendo right now. Devil's Third was apparently awful. So, of course, that's also what happens when you delay the game so much that people forget the thing even exists. I was like, what? That game is still around? Okay. Speaking of a game that's still around, but seems to continue to have problems, Trine 3, The Artifacts of Power, also has problems. In fact, the vice president and I think the marketing guy had to release a video and a written apology because they gave fans things they had no idea they were getting. So they apparently had planned for a much longer story and more levels, but they apparently needed more money to be able to create all of that. Of course, they don't tell anyone this. They just released the game the way it is. And so now apparently they're going to have to figure out future plans because it's pretty much do or die for them at this point.
That reminds me of that, I think it was called Dark Matter on Steam, where like midway through the game you get to a door, it says like to be continued. It's like, what?
What? Wow.
And people weren't pleased by that.
I'm pretty sure not. I mean, just... You could just come out and delay it and explain to people what's going on. Maybe, you know...
Well, it's also been on early access for a while. Like, I think they just wanted to get it out there, but...
Right.
Like, I think they oversaturated the market with that game, too.
Yeah, because then they would release, like, a special edition for it on the consoles, and they would remake it for PS4, and then... It's like, okay, well, here comes the third game. Oh, well, it's not really that great. Okay. And then, well, they kind of screwed themselves on that. Hopefully things would turn out better for Frozen Byte, though. Did they make any games besides the Shrine?
I think they made a few. Like, I got their, like, bundle at one point, and it included, like, something else, but... Yeah, it's about Shrine, and that's about it.
So, I had no idea people still wanted to buy Vitas. But apparently Sony's releasing an Aqua Blue PlayStation Vita for $200 in the United States on November 6th. I can't imagine those pre-orders are selling anywhere near as much as the 3DS special editions that are getting made right now.
Did you have a Vita, right? Or do you not?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Did you see the video? It was done about 2 weeks ago of the Vita prototype.
No.
It was someone in Assembler Games found it or like bought it, but it was like one of the first 100 Vitas made. So it looks very different. Like the screen slides out and it's a lot lighter, and it looks a little bulkier but cool looking. And I wish they'd released that one instead.
I wonder why that. Well, it's probably because of the bulky.
Like it almost looks like a Vita, like a PSP Go.
Oh, well, why didn't they release it? I mean, would it have had the same graphics and everything?
Yeah, like they didn't. Well, it didn't have any. Also, it didn't require the stupid memory cards. It could just require like a SD card. But it didn't have any games for it. But like the menus looked pretty much the same, or like the same type of menus and stuff.
Well, doesn't the Vita require the memory card anyway?
No, it requires the specific format one, so Sony controls it.
Right, which is why I have not bought a Vita.
But the prototype only had an SD card on it.
Yeah, that's dumb. Sony, I don't understand. Like, you know, Nintendo figured it out eventually. Just make it to where you can get an SD card where everybody can buy it. Instead of your memory cards, but you also overpriced to hell.
Yeah.
And yeah, just not good. And especially, I'd figure they would be a little bit less expensive than $200 too, but it is Sony, I guess. The one thing I'll give Sony is that the Vita, when people buy the Vita, they buy games for it. So it at least appeals in that way. Speaking of appealing, apparently, according to your friend John there, there's an demographic split between males and female gamers of who plays Disney Infinity. The Wall Street Journal came out with something that says that there's a strong female player base for Disney Infinity, which is why you have the female character for the Star Wars one.
Yeah.
And yeah, Disney appeals to everybody, so this sort of doesn't really surprise me. But, I mean, it does kind of also play into the fact that they have picked a lot of female characters, too.
Yeah, I would actually say the roster is probably pretty split down the middle as far as like male to female characters. Like, it might skew a little towards male, but it's only like 60-40, if that.
Right. And then there's also characters that just appeal to both, like, you know, all the inside out characters, and, you know, there's plenty of them that are just universal.
Yeah, and also I think Infinity's a pretty. It's a low impact. It's a low like. It's not a frustrating game, or it's like a pretty low impact. So like, yeah, you can just kind of pick it up and play it. Like you don't need to get like too involved in it. I don't think.
Yeah, it's something you can play. It's something you can play with your kids. It's you know, the kids can be sitting there doing stuff in the toy box. I mean, it's not something that's gonna like frustrate you. So yeah, anybody can.
They need to release a Admiral Akbar Star Wars figure.
I'm waiting for the Lando Calrissian figure.
He'll come with a bottle Colt 45. Actually, speaking to my friend Johnny, though, he posted a picture yesterday, I think on Twitter, of him meeting, I think it's Christy Carlson Romano. She did the voice of Kim Possible, so
right.
They're trying to they're trying to get her into the game, or like Kim Possible into the game. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, you know, it's like when they released Phineas and Ferb, which I think, didn't they say they were done with that?
Probably.
Series or something? I mean, I remember Kim Possible when I was younger, it being a big thing for them, so.
Yeah, Disney's weird when it comes to shows. Like, they don't let shows run past like 100 episodes most of the time. Like, even if they're good. It's like,
right.
Why?
I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me, but I think also by a certain point, Christy Carlson Romano wanted to go ahead and do something else, so.
Maybe, but, I mean, what else is she known for?
Was it that show with Shia LaBeouf when...
Yeah, but that was 10, 15 years ago at least. Like, I think the
we were younger.
I think the last thing she did was get nude in, like, the direct-to-DVD Mirrors sequel.
Jeez. What?
It's like, well, I mean, I guess I approve of that one for sure, but doesn't that kind of show where your career is?
Yeah, it does.
If you're doing a Nick Stahl movie, it's like, come on now.
But, I mean, did her career really ever go anywhere if you're going immediately to animated? You know, doing voiceover work like that?
Well, I mean, I think she did a good job in that role, but it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm kind of excited to. I know whenever the regular Mickey and Minnie come out, my daughter's I'm gonna have to make sure she doesn't see it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be buying any more figures. I haven't actually bought any figures other than the ones that come with
The game.
the set after the first Infinity. So
I think.
I mean, I kept saying I was gonna buy Hulk so I could finish the Avengers thing, but I never did.
I have these figures. I have 4 Star Wars figures, the 3 Infinity 1.0 figures. I think I got a green guy from Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
As like an E3 thing, and I got an Iron Fist from also E3, and that's it.
Huh.
But there's 100. I think there's 110 or 12 figures out right now.
Yeah, that's. I mean, Skyliner still has.
Skyline just blows it away probably,
Yeah.
but.
Still, that's to have over 100 already is pretty awesome for them. I mean, whoever's really spent all the money to get all of them, oof.
And soon there will be Legos.
Yep, and Legos, which, what they say, like 14 different franchises or something like that are in the game.
Yeah, probably.
So, that's nuts. So hey, you know, that game that we both played and you reviewed, Rocket League, has sold 1 million copies just on PC.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool for that game. I'm waiting for the. Would the DLC already come out, or it's gonna come out?
I think it came out already. I don't know. That game, that was a well-made game. It just didn't quite hook me like it did with other people. And that's probably just because I didn't play with, like, my friends.
Yeah, it's a big party game.
But
when I played it with Randy and his friends or whatever, it was really fun. I could have played it for a while with that, but just playing it with myself, it was like, alright, I can play this for a little bit, but, here and there.
yeah.
It's definitely one of those big games that we'll be remembering throughout the year, I think. It'll win awards and stuff like that for
Best sports game.
Multiplayer. Yeah, sports game. Maybe. So, Torchlight, developer Runic Games, says he is burnt out on Torchlight, and also because Diablo 3 is killing it right now. So, he has no need to make a Torchlight 3. So that's why he's making Hob, which is sort of like a Zelda sort of clone, or I've watched videos of this. It really, I'm kind of interested. I want to play the game.
Remember when Torchlight 1 came out originally, and they said, we're going to make a Torchlight MMO? Whatever happened to that?
Good for them, they didn't, because that would have bombed.
I like Torchlight 2 a lot. I still think it's very strange that it never came to consoles. I cannot fathom why.
But it's the same reason why we're just now getting, we got Diablo 3 on consoles, but, and Divinity Original Sin's not going to come on consoles, which number 2 already got funded, apparently.
Wait, I thought the Original Sin was coming to consoles.
Yeah, Original Sin's coming to consoles. That's what I'm saying. Like, it took Original Sin like a year after, or 2 years after Diablo. It's a year, I think. Diablo came out on console, so.
They haven't even mentioned it, though. It's like, if it ever was, they should at least say it, or. Because I think if, like, Torchlight 2 came to PS4, it'd be great.
Right, but I think they probably see it as the same thing, like, why are you going to have two things that serve kind of the same master?
Why not? I mean, they're different enough, and it'll be cheaper for sure, so they'd get that at least.
I would agree with that, yeah. It's going to be cheaper. You could sell it for like $20. And
also, I think, like, Torchlight is a very different... it is the same, like, style of game, but I think it's very different in how it plays.
I'd agree with that, yeah. I haven't played hours and hours of Torchlight, but I've played enough to be able to, tell the difference, and it...
Yeah.
The way it does certain things is sometimes even better than the way Diablo does it, but...
Oh, yeah.
It's not like he says, it's not like Diablo is doing bad or anything.
Oh yeah, speaking of that, I got that like PS3 or PS4 patch for Diablo. That thing was a lot of fun.
So what did it add in there?
It added like this new cube, so you can like extract legendary powers to add them to your character, and like.
Oh, it's kind of like that heretic cube or whatever.
Yeah.
Like.
But the fun thing for me is it added like tier 7 through 10 difficulty levels.
Oh. Wow.
So it's like Torment 10 now, and my cheated character can still blow through it with no problem whatsoever. So, like, I'll do like a rift, and I'll get like 7 legendaries drop from it. I'm just like, yeah, this is nice.
Awesome. Well, speaking of something that won't be awesome for the people that have only Xbox 360s and PS3s, you're not getting Mortal Kombat X because they got canceled. So,
yep. You saw this one coming.
Waiting on that game. I'm sorry. I don't know why you thought you were getting that when it's taken this long for it to come out, but
Yeah, like I knew it wasn't going to come out. Like after how many problems like Mortal Kombat X originally had, like I was just like, no way is this coming out.
Yeah, if they keep delaying it, eventually, it's done. But hey, you can get Deadpool, the game, on Xbox One and PS4 for $50.
50?
Yeah.
Should be 15.
I would agree. It wasn't that great of a game. It was, you're gonna get 2 new levels and 2 suits and all the DLC for $50. So
Is it gonna make it fun?
probably not.
That'd be better.
I would agree, but you know,
Like
I don't know why they're going for the cheap cash in, but
because they're making the Deadpool movie, so why not?
stupid.
Like
I realize the game sucks, you know.
I mean, people are idiots, so they'll buy it. It's not a badly made game. It's just not fun at all.
Well, but if it's not fun, then it's a badly made game, isn't it? Isn't the whole point of the game to be fun?
Well, I mean, it's not broken, and like I guess the mechanics are sound, but it's just not enjoyable to play.
Okay, fair enough. So we have these apparently these movies. Assassin's Creed is now going to share the same universe as the video games and the comics, and Lionsgate is going to make a Borderlands movie. Which one's going to do better?
I would say Assassin's Creed, just because there are actual characters in that universe.
Well, Borderlands has characters.
Eventually, it does. If they make a Borderlands movie, I want it to be all in first person.
Oh no.
Just like that Doom sequence from that movie.
The only good part of that damn movie?
Yeah, that was the entire Borderlands movie, though. It must be 2 hours of that.
Yeah, but then you can't see the characters make facial expressions and they make the stupid comedy.
Yeah, but you never see Borderlands characters when you play, also.
Well, but you see the other characters when you interact with them or whatever.
That's what I mean. Like if it's first person, you can meet those people.
Ah, okay, I see what you're talking about. Well, I would say Assassin's Creed is going to do better because they can do a lot with that film. There's a lot of they could sort of make it like it could be like a sort of Da Vinci Code-esque type movie, and then they also add in the whole where he has to go around and have a reason why he's killing the people and all that stuff. I mean, there's a lot they can do with that. There's a lot. I just can't imagine them messing that up so bad either. I think Borderlands is a lot easier for me to see them totally screw up.
Oh, I think they can mess it up fine. Just fine, actually, but I just hope they don't. Plus it has Omar in it, and that's cool.
You think they're going to have Destin in there as well?
Who?
Or Desmond, or with the...
I think
yeah.
I think that's kind of integral to the role. Like, I don't think they'll have... what is this? Michael Fassbender as Desmond, but I think they'll have someone as that character. Like, just getting into the Animus, and then you'll have Michael Fassbender as Ezio, or whoever the hell he's going to play.
Right.
Like, it'd be cool if it was actually Omar as, like, the present-day character, and he gets into the Animus, and he just transforms into Michael Fassbender. That'd be great.
Do you think they'll make their own characters for the Borderlands movie, or do you think they're just going to use...
I think they will at least have Handsome Jack and Moxie in it, because those are two fan-favorite characters. They could easily use Angel, because, I mean, it's the actress, so she's fine enough. She could do that role just good, or just well enough. They may get Scooter. That's about it.
I'd probably agree with you on the first two. I think it would actually behoove them to make their own characters so they can make a game off the movie or whatever, instead of having to make a Borderlands, or they could just turn that into a Borderlands 3.
It'd actually be cool if they just made a movie based on Tales from the Borderlands.
That's what I was gonna say, because those are the best characters.
Because they have a personality.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think the problem with that would just be, like, when you play a Borderlands game, the only time your character ever speaks is when they, like, shout, like, placing a turret, or that's about it.
Yeah, that's...
Like they add a personality in like the next game, so you can see like in Borderlands 2 you can see the original Vault Hunters, but like when you're playing Borderlands 1, they're essentially like Gordon Freeman.
That doesn't make much sense to me, but...
So it's kind of weird when you play it.
Well, I mean, speaking of Telltale, they did reveal, or they had people play the Minecraft story mode, and I feel like I might actually get that one now. They're saying that the cast makes all the characters really worth going through the game for. It's a lot of Minecraft, obviously. It's the Minecraft-inspired world and everything, but that the characters are really good, well-voiced, that you'll want to play the game even if you don't play Minecraft. So...
I hope it's good, but I just don't... that's the same problem I have with that Game of Thrones game. Like, I just have zero attachment to that franchise.
Oh, but the Game of Thrones game, like, most of it doesn't even have to do with the characters from the...
Oh, I know. I just don't like that setting, or I just don't like...
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that world, so...
Yeah, and it's sort of boring, the game, so... It's nowhere, like Tales of Borderlands is light years ahead of, it's not compelling. There's parts of it that are compelling. It has the Game of Thrones tropes where people die and whatever, but it's just, a lot of it is very plotting, and I'm just getting through it because of the Game of Thrones tie-in, but kind of almost don't want to. Hey, they're gonna make too bad Robert's not here to gush about this, but they're making an unauthorized Castlevania animated miniseries. It's supposed to be based off Castlevania 3, so we'll get Trevor Belmont and Alucard, maybe. The guy that's gonna be in charge of it is also, he says that he's pointing out all these classic anime series as inspirations for it. Shankar's also been the guy that's in charge of Dread, The Punisher, Dirty Laundry, and the Power Rangers short that came out that got taken down.
Yeah, I got put back up though. That was the good thing.
Are you interested at all?
Not really, just because I guess that Castlevania lore just doesn't hold any real big interest to me. But I mean, I'll watch it if it comes out.
I'm the same way. I'm not a big Castlevania person, but I'll watch it. If it sucks, then I just won't keep watching it.
Yeah.
So Nickelodeon might bring back some of our favorite shows. I'm all for Hey Arnold coming back. I'd be cool with my kid watching Rugrats. I don't know that I'd be too into it again. That was something that I watched when I was a kid. Any Nickelodeon animated shows you want to see come back, or shows in general? I guess?
Well, the thing about I read that story too is like Rugrats and Doug already had sequels. That's the weird thing.
Yeah, they had when they were grown up or whatever.
Yeah. As far as like animated shows, not really. Like I was never big into Nickelodeon cartoons. I think like Real Monsters was okay, and Ren and Stimpy was fine, but they can't bring that back, obviously. I would actually more rather be into bringing back the Nickelodeon game shows. Like if they brought back like Guts or like Legends of the Hidden Temple, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I was surprised they haven't tried to bring back Legends of the Hidden Temple or something like that by now.
Or even like Are You Afraid of the Dark? That was like one of the best shows on Nickelodeon.
Oh, Are You Afraid of the Dark was awesome. I mean, if you can make a Goosebumps game now,
Movie.
why not? Or movie, yeah. Well, I thought there was a game too that they found on the Xbox store.
Ugh. Oh, thank you.
That's gonna work. But,
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? We talked about it. I don't know how many months ago on this podcast, but Hulu finally came out with that $11.99 ad-free version.
Right.
Are people? You think they're gonna really see an increase in the whole buying it for $5 more because there's no ads?
No, because I think most of the people who got pissed about Hulu in the first place just went to Pirate Bay and said screw off, or Netflix.
I think they will. I mean, now that Netflix has dropped their deal with Epix, where they're not going to have a lot of the newly released movies, and Hulu has basically taken that deal over, I have a feeling you could get a lot more people that go to Hulu. For me, if it wasn't for the anime, a lot of what I would use Hulu for is taken away because I have cable and I just like Hulu kind of really upset me when they took off. They made it basically an on-demand version instead of having a lot of the seasons intact the whole time. So,
I was pissed when Hulu took over the South Park website and their episode thing, because that was a terrible deal.
Yeah, but don't they have all the episodes now though?
Yeah, but it's behind a paywall.
Oh yeah, it's behind the Hulu.
Because the South Park website originally was just like, you know what? I think like Trey and Matt basically were like, people pirate these all the time, so I might as well just put them up for free. And they did, and it was great. But I think Hulu took it over. It's like, well, you can't watch anything before season 19, like the latest season. It's like, great, thanks.
What? Sucks. Stupid Hulu.
And people wonder why BitTorrent is still so popular.
Yep. If you make it more a pain in the ass to get stuff, that's what's gonna happen. So that YouTube gaming thing is out now. Do you think this is really gonna be able to compete with Twitch, or is this Google kind of grasping at straws? Or
I think it could. I guess I've heard it's a little better than Twitch in some aspects.
Yeah, like you have a DVR mode that lets you buffer previous 4 hours of the stream, and
I've heard archiving's a lot better than Twitch, which has never been great.
yeah. I mean, YouTube's always been really good about archiving, so
I guess I'll be curious. I'm more curious when the PS4 firmware hits, when it adds that YouTube stuff, if it'll work better than Twitch or not.
I hope so, because I like using YouTube a lot more for that than Twitch. But
yeah,
I mean, that's good that they were able to find their own way to compete with it without having to buy it or whatever. So
I think Twitch is too big to buy at the moment.
Well, I mean, Amazon bought it, but
yeah, that's when it got big though.
So you gonna go for that all-day breakfast at McDonald's in a month?
Maybe they can get breakfast burritos, and that's okay.
Well, I don't know. I think they said the McGriddles weren't part of that, but I might pop in to get a couple of those or something. Hey, whatever. Jack in the Box did it for years when I lived in Texas, and I loved being able to go get my breakfast bowl whenever I wanted it. But yeah, it is what it is.
I don't think McDonald's has a particularly good breakfast in the first place. So.
I agree. I'm not a big fan of McDonald's breakfast.
I think their big breakfast thing is okay, and their breakfast burritos are decent enough, but that's about it.
I actually like Taco Bell's breakfast a lot.
Okay.
More now. Well, those AM Crunch wraps are actually pretty good. That waffle taco is a greasy mess. So. Yeah, and I guess we should end this with sad news. Horror icon Wes Craven passed away this week at the age of 76. Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream are the ones he's going to be remembered for, pretty much. He also did Last House on the Left, which is his first movie in 1972, and he did The Hills Have Eyes. What is your favorite Wes Craven?
I would probably just say Scream, just because I'm not a really big horror fan. I think I saw Last House on the Left. That was okay. Hills Have Eyes was pretty funny. And let's see. Yeah, I'd say just Scream though.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Nightmare on Elm Street still gives me, and Freddy Krueger still scares me. depends. Depending on what movie I'm watching. Last House on the Left was one of those movies that obviously you shouldn't watch if you're younger, but it definitely will impact you a little bit there if you watch it when you're older. Some of the scenes in that movie are pretty crazy.
I had a friend. I have a friend who's like a massive Wes Craven fan, so I was afraid she was gonna like commit suicide or something when.
Oh gosh.
I'm kidding about that, but like she's like a huge horror fan, so.
Yeah, me and Gary are pretty big, huge horror fans too, so it kind of hit us pretty hard. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the Scream series, but neither Hills Have Eyes either. But
I only like the first Scream. Like I think that's actually like pretty well made film, but I think the later ones just got too up their own ass about like the deconstruction of like horror films. And
yeah, I would agree.
It just like didn't quite work.
I thought 4 was okay for a remake.
Yeah.
But
like I think Scream 2 and 3 were like too much like winking at the camera about horror films.
Mm-hmm.
And like Scream 1 kind of was like that too, but it took itself like a little more seriously than 2 and 3.
Right, that's why when they started making the scary movies and it got more outrageous, that's how Scream started being, really.
Plus, Scream 1 had Rose McGowan in a tight sweater, and that's cool.
You can never go wrong with that. Plus, Scream kind of was the one that made that like 90s teen movie thing kind of just blow up all of a sudden, where you had all those movies that were sort of like Scream.
I know what you did last summer.
Yeah, all that. All right, I mean, I think that pretty much covers it for this week. But yeah, I guess we should end it by doing what we always do, I guess. Well, I should always just have this up here. I don't know why I do this all the time.
New releases?
Yeah.
Just Metal Gear Solid, that's about it. That's all anyone cares about.
Exactly. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, well, pretty much what came out. Stop, I don't want you to. It's the only thing about that thing you gave me. Every time there's an ad, it asks me if I want to download the ad too.
Yeah, Internet Download Manager. Yeah, it's a good little program though.
I'd agree, it works pretty good. So there's Tearaway Unfolded for the PS4. If you didn't have it on the Vita, which it is a really good game though. I'm interested to see how they did it for the PS4 because they apparently even used the light bar and stuff. So, Lovers in Dangerous Space-Time for the PC. The Dragon Quest Inquisition Trespasser DLC is coming out. Broken Sword 5, the Complete Edition for Xbox One. Leo's Fortune, a bunch of indie games. And I think that's that. Nobunaga's Ambition, whatever his influence.
Nobunaga's Ambition, yeah.
No.
I wisely said no to reviewing that one.
I'm sure Adam is having a ball with that.
Yeah, he was like, do you want this? I'm like, hell no. I took Zeo Drifter instead, which isn't great in itself, but it's at least playable.
Yeah, with Zeo Drifter, you can also just play on, if you have PS Plus, you can play this one too. So.
That's a weird game.
I played the other two. I played Teslagrad. That's also weird, but I can kind of get it.
Zeo Drifter is like a Metroidvania with it's not a big open world, but it's levels, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But there are enemies in that game that are just like overwhelming.
How so?
Like one of the stages, it opens with this enemy that's like a big cube, and if it hits you, half your life is gone.
Jeez.
And also takes about 45 hits to kill.
Lord, okay.
Like me and a friend of mine were counting how many hits it was, like 46 or 47. It's like this is the opening enemy. And also, the boss is the same boss in every level. He just gains upgrades, which seems incredibly lazy to me.
Yeah, that seems really lazy. That Hatsumiku project, Mirai DX, the sort of rhythm game
Game of the year.
for the 3DS, you can get that. I'm sort of interested in that game. I don't know if I'm buying it. I like rhythm games. It's also that indie game Shift Happens. Yeah, Leo's Fortune, and then Amakrog, which, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's there. Plus, you have the Metal Gear Solid that came out this week, the Disney Infinity, which came out on Sunday?
Yeah, 30th.
30th is Sunday. And there's a couple other games that came out in this week, I want to say.
Yeah, nothing big.
That was sort of decent.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, until next week, we shall see you later.
Yep.
Peace.
Later.